The first image he never told anyone about was of 3 children on the tarmac in 2019. He said that for him, it was the image of unhappiness, and also that he had tried several times to link it to other images, but it never worked. He wrote me, "One day I'll have to put it all alone in the beginning of a film with a long piece of white leader. If they don't see unhappiness in the picture, at least they'll see the white." He took 8 grams of psilocybin, and when it took effect, he was meditating in a room with white women, when he suddenly thought of his grandmother's smile. "Oh, it's a disaster," his mother said when he called her. "Your uncle sold half of White Boy San He Yuan, all to pay off his gambling debts, and they're going to demolish the house, right down the middle." She was distraught. He didn't know then of the pain and sadness that would release itself over the next years. Can the subaltern speak? He waited and stared at the unbearable. The unwatchable reality. He waited until he could no longer participate in the failed dreams of the hegemon. He wanted to see his pain. He realized that his vengeance was a lazy form of grief. This is a film of failure. This is a film that circles and circles around the rim. A collection of waste. Amar was the only one left of a generation. They stationed themselves here. To reach Waipo's Sanheyuan, he must first arrive at the patriarchal home of his father's side. This is his father, Agong's house. Here is one side of the Genesis. He remembers his identity before the colonial language. The spirit of evangelical finance returned and returned to the island of Formosa. Agong was an entrepreneur. After farming, he managed a factory and produced commodities that supplied the world. He ran through these spaces as a child, surrounded by a community of people. It's all gone now, a placeholder of memory, left contained.
Like many of his parents' generation, they left Taiwan for a better life. The young colonial country, also known as Australia, felt new and full of promises. But he wasn't prepared for the alienation from his family, from language, from culture, and from himself.
This here is the stream that divides his parents' homes. It is easy for souls to get lost in these rivers after death. His father would talk about the fish they used to catch in these streams. Now it reeks of chemical waste. Cars drive fast along the highway at dizzying speeds, past places no one remembers. This is the Sanheyuan. He associated with Waipo, his mother's mother. This courtyard was the site of his primal nightmare. He dreamt of White Paul's home. In the courtyard, a fight broke out. His entire family was caught in a fight with the police. He arrived with his parents to the Sanheuyen. His mother and father leaped out of the car and joined the fight. He watched with horror from the back seat as a smiling policeman approached from the fight, reached behind him and grabbed a gun. The policeman looked kind. But who was the gun for? How did he know? What would he do with the gun? He felt helpless within the violence. All he could do was watch as the policeman returned to his family. His mother came back for him, grabbed him, and they ran away as an oncoming truck sped towards them. In the last moment, it reared on its back end like a stallion.
This is the site of the demolition. As he stood, a slave to his camera, he wondered about the imperialism codified in the bricks. What internalizations of hidden masters are sold and consumed in ever-renewing forms of consumption? He became obsessed with the words not spoken. For that, in the invisible, as he circled and circled, unable to pierce at its heart.
Gone are the pigs, the oxens, the chickens, the pigeons. Families moved away, distances elongated.
He felt guilty that he was hoping that the demolition would indeed happen before he ran out of money.
But the void gazes back. The repressed shall return. The temple looks directly across to the shack where his good-for-nothing uncle gambles, not so secretly. This is where he gambles, they tell him. Every family has a scapegoat. Don't end up like me, his uncle would tell him, smiling. When are you getting married? He would ask. He never understood his uncle's peaceful acceptance of his shame. This is his half, which he sold to the developers without the family's counsel. This is the half that will be demolished to pay for his gambling debts. A lifetime of shame.
Here is where the gaze is situated, that which stares into nothing. The Sanheuyen provides a symbolic structure of family unity and social organization, a house of multiple generations, fostering familial bonds and communal living. The open courtyard before the temple provided space for drying crops, family gatherings, and ceremonies. Here, they dried their harvests and warmed water for bathing under the sun. The central room symbolizes the family's heart. The heart is designated for demolition. He felt nothing. He didn't dare to feel. He didn't dare to think. Like the dream, he watched. He watched the family fighting. Fighting who?
After he filmed the scene, tears took him by surprise. He ran away, just like in the dream. He always ran. But the images would not leave. The world was indifferent to his fears. The demolition will happen, no matter how much anyone protests. He left his family. He began wandering, filming, unaware of his attraction to all those who look.